Hello, everybody, and a good afternoon. A warm welcome to today's webinar. Hopefully, you have all joined and that you can hear me okay. If you can't hear me, then please do put in the chat now. Yeah, a very warm welcome to the webinar this afternoon. I will be talking through all about our new calendar events and task feature. So this is something that we launched just before Christmas. So I'll be kind of discussing a little bit more about the benefits of using these features and kind of go over some use cases about how you would then use these features. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Abby and I work in the customer success team here at ProspectSoft. So, I work with my customers about getting the most use out of their CRM, the most value out of the CRM. So, yeah, hopefully today's webinar is definitely going to show you the value of this feature. A quick agenda is we'll be going through the calendar feature because it's obviously still quite new to everybody. So I just thought by giving you a quick kind of overview of how you navigate the calendar, what you can do with it would be quite beneficial. And then throughout the demo, we'll kind of just be talking about how you then create events, how you create tasks, prioritizing your task, viewing your tasks and everything. And kind of then all within that is how do you actually track your progress with the tasks, with the events and everything. So yeah, I'll quickly go into some key takeaways. I'll then be going through all of that in a live demo. And then at the end, there'll be time for some Q&A. So if you have any questions about what I'm talking about today or any general questions, please do leave it in the question area below. And equally, because this is a new feature, it's still in preview, so you'll see it's in preview, which is really amazing because it means the product team are currently making changes to it. So if you're watching this webinar or have any general suggestions about how we can further improve this feature, please also let us know below. Either get in contact with the success team or just leave it in the Q&A section below as well, and I can help feed that back to the product team. So yeah, any suggestions are very welcome. So let's get into some key takeaways for the webinar today. What hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate to you is why you would want to use the calendar within the CRM. And really the main point of this is to help you stay organized and in control of your tasks. So it's all about having kind of one single point of information. You're not having to kind of flip between your calendar and Outlook and then coming back into the CRM and having two pages open. It's all there in one central place. And this is going to help you stay organized and on top of all of the tasks you've got. And not only that, but going to give you and your team better visibility of what's going on within the business. And kind of along with that is then kind of having this effortless scheduling and task management. And why is this really important? Well, it's really important, obviously, to reduce manual admin, save yourself some time and effort. And the reason for doing that is so then you can spend more of your time actually speaking to your customers and strengthening your relationship with your customers, because ultimately, that's going to be what grows your business. And so the less admin you can do, the better. So then you can focus on what's actually going to have an impact, like closing deals. And so hopefully our calendar events and task feature is going to help you achieve that. And then finally, another key takeaway is kind of just remembering that prioritizing things really does matter. So the CRM is already really great at categorizing and prioritizing your customers with the RFM and missing orders. But actually, what is now really useful with the tasks feature is that you can prioritize your tasks as well. So this is just to make sure that the task that you are focusing on is delivering really high impact. So making sure that, again, you've got good organization and in control of your tasks by being able to prioritize what you really need to be doing at the time. So yeah, those are the key takeaways for the webinar today. Hopefully, as I go through the demo, those will kind of become clear as to how you can do this within the CRM. So let's go into the demo. All right, so I am in the CRM. Hopefully you can see the CRM now, and I am in the calendar area, so jumping straight into it. As a reminder, you get here by clicking on the left-hand menu and seeing the calendar in preview. This should be available to everybody now. You should be able to all see it. If you can't, obviously just get in contact with support or your customer success team, and we'll be able to make sure that's open for you. But yeah, this is the calendar and we've got different views for it. So currently I'm in the work week view, so I can see Monday to Friday. But we've also then got kind of an overall week view. So this includes weekends. We've also got a month view, and it's kind of what you would expect from a calendar. You can see what you've got on for each day. Obviously, this demo system is extremely busy and has a lot of meetings going on this month. But yeah, this is the calendar. If you're looking for a bit more of an in-depth overview, so obviously, as I mentioned in the agenda, this is just going to be a bit of a quick overview of the calendar. If you're wanting kind of a lot more in-depth, going into every single tiny feature we have for it, I do recommend going back and looking at the webinar I did with Tanya in our product team just before Christmas. So that's when we actually launched the feature, and that's where we kind of go through every single thing that the calendar can offer. This is just a quick overview. So if you wanted to watch that webinar, please do go over to our YouTube page or the webinar page, and you can kind of just familiarize yourself with it again. So those are the different views that we have. You can also see other people's calendars, so other users. You've got a nice drop down here, and you can see what they've got on as well. So if I go back to work week, and if I point your attention over here to the smaller calendar on the right, what's really cool about this is that you can actually kind of select which days you want to see. So if you want to be really specific, you can actually change the view. So you don't just have to see kind of Monday to Friday. You could see Wednesday to Wednesday or something like that. And what's really beneficial with that is that obviously on a Friday, you're probably not too bothered about what's happened during the week. You probably are just looking forward to the weekend. But it's really important to have a bit of an overview of what you've got on next week. So you can just do the drag and select to do Friday to Friday, let's say. And here now you've got quite a nice overview of what you've got going on next week, as well as what you've got on today. So yeah, that's a really nice little handy feature. So if I go back to work week and it's on this week. So that was a quick overview of kind of navigating the calendar and the little features that you've got for it. Obviously, the calendar is a live, direct reflection of what you've got in your Outlook calendar. So we currently only have this integration for Outlook if you use Outlook. Um, and so, yeah, it's a live feed of what you've got going on in there. Obviously, if you want to just be absolutely sure that it's up to date, we do have a little refresh button here in the top right, but generally, any changes made in Outlook or in the CRM calendar should be kind of instantaneously reflected on both calendars. So anything that's in Outlook should be shown in here. You can see all of the details of the events. So if I open up this meeting, I can kind of see details of who's attending, what time it is, any categories, and quite nicely, you can actually also join the meeting straight from the CRM. So you don't even need to go into Outlook or Teams to be able to join it. You can just go straight from the CRM, which is very handy. And yeah, if you've got, do I have one here? Yes, here. Private appointments are also hidden. So even if the rest of your team can see your calendar, any private appointments still just show as private appointments. Very similar to how Outlook does it. So, kind of how do you then use this? What would this look like in a workflow for you? Why would you use this over just going straight to Outlook? Because I'm sure that's what most of you are doing right now is you just clock into work and you have a look at Outlook and see what meetings you've got on. Well, I would say considering this is a live feed from Outlook, kind of why wouldn't you use the CRM calendar? It's going to show you the exact same information as Outlook is. So I don't see any harm in kind of using this one instead. And actually, the benefit you then have is again, you've got one central place to be able to manage your events, so your meetings, as well as your tasks. So if we have a look here in the bottom right-hand corner, you've got a section called Today and Overdue. And so this is going to show you any of your CRM tasks that you've got overdue or due for today. And you can see this quite nicely. They're categorized by color. So these red ones are all overdue. And then if we scroll down, you'll see the yellow ones are all of the tasks that I've got due just for today. So quite nicely categorized for you there. And you'll notice that this top one actually says high, and that's because this is high priority. So remember in my key takeaways, I said it's really important to kind of prioritize your tasks. Well, this is one that has been marked as really high priority. You've got the option of high, medium, or low, or just not setting it at all. And basically, the impact of this is that it determines where it is in your task list. So generally, if you didn't have this prioritized, it would kind of be somewhere more around here because it was due for the 28th of November. But because it's high, it goes straight to the top of my overdue list because even though I've got ones that are way more overdue, this has been marked as high priority. I kind of need to be doing it right here, right now. So that's quite nice. And then equally, if you've got something that's of low importance, you can kind of just mark it as low and it can go to the bottom of the pile, or just not prioritize it at all. So it's quite nice that you've got that extra prioritization and categorization of the task list. Obviously, this little area down here is just a small reflection. If you wanted to see kind of a more total overview, including what you've completed today and upcoming, then you can go into your big task list up here. But yeah, so if we go into kind of the workflow, if we go back to thinking about how you're actually going to use this, what I would suggest you do is in the morning when you clock into work, the first thing that you should be doing is opening up the CRM calendar. And this is because you can have an overview of what events you've got on, but also have a look at your tasks. So for me, on this test account, I've got pretty much no meetings. I've got no meetings until the rest of the day. So that means I've got quite a lot of time to get on with the 9 overdue tasks I've got. And it's really important to be able to have these on one screen and see them because I then can see I've got some crazy days coming up. Thursday and Friday are really busy. I've got, 4 meetings at one time at this point. So I'm probably not going to be able to make any headway with my tasks. And actually, when I look up here, I can see I've got a task due for tomorrow and a task due for Friday. So I've already got quite a lot going on. I don't really have any time to be doing it. So I know because I've got a free calendar this afternoon, this is when I really need to be kind of getting on top of my task list because as I said, it's really important to stay in control of these because, since the 28th of November, Tanya's customer Milu hasn't paid their invoices. And that's obviously really important. So just making sure you're aware and you're in control of your task list at all times is really key. And obviously, you don't want to be having loads of CRM tasks if you've got loads of meetings going on, which is why it's then good to actually be managing this all within the CRM because that's where you manage your customers, that's where you're getting set tasks to do for the day. Well, you then need to see if you've even got time to be doing it for the day. So if we have a look here, and in this example, again, I said, no meetings today. I can probably do this high importance task. This is where I'm going to start. So in the morning, I would probably just sit and have a review of everything, all of the tasks I've got on, and start to kind of action them off. So here, with the unpaid invoices, I'm looking at this, check with Tanya the reason for why this last month was unpaid. Okay. It's been quite a while since I got set this task, so let's just get a meeting booked in with Tanya. It's going to be so much easier. I've got a really free afternoon. Let's just get it booked in. So I'm looking and let's book one for 1:30. So here I am going to be booking a Teams meeting. So if I just say Milu unpaid invoices, I want this to be a Teams meeting and don't need a reminder, but I do want to link it to a record. And this is really important to be able to track your progress with customers and not just for you to track your progress, but also for other team members to be able to track your progress. So by linking this meeting to that CRM record, anybody who goes onto that CRM record, and I'll show you this in a minute, will be able to see that Tanya and I have this meeting booked in. So that's going to be really great for your admins to then be able to see, okay, this task has obviously gone a little bit to the bottom of the pile. It's high now on the priority list. They've got a meeting booked in. It's kind of being actioned, and we all know that something's going on with it. So linking it to records is really important. And this is why we would then say creating your meetings, especially internal ones, from the CRM calendar is a lot more useful than doing it straight in Outlook because you've got that added layer of functionality. So I then need to invite somebody. So I'm going to invite Tanya. And I've set it to be at 1:30. I don't need it to be all day and I don't need it to repeat. If obviously you have access to Tanya's calendar, you would then get some times suggested here. So I'm sure we all know that that's a feature in Outlook. Well, it's the exact same in the CRM. It will recommend you times to be that work best for both of you. So you can set it to be 4 o'clock, but I'm happy to keep it at 1:30. And you would then just add a description of time to go over invoices, and you would create that. And that's now going to create, and that's going to show instantly in the CRM calendar, as well as then going straight into your Outlook calendar. So if we go here, you'll see unpaid invoices. And again, if we click on this, I can join it straight from Teams. So I straight to Teams. I don't have to leave the CRM to do that. And Tanya, who I've just invited, will get the usual Outlook meeting invite. That's not something controlled by the CRM. That's something you'll just get the usual normal invite. But again, because Tanya's an user of the CRM, she can equally just come in and because it's in her calendar, just join it straight from the CRM. So nice and easy. And with this task, so I know it's a really high importance task and I'm now doing something about it. So what I actually might want to do is just add a note to my task and say, on this day, booked a meeting. So I just know I don't want to be completing this task because obviously the task is not actually done yet. For several reasons, the meeting might not go ahead and you don't want to kind of get it lost. You want to be staying in control. So I'm just going to add a note there to say for myself and for everybody looking, I've got the meeting booked. But what's also really nice is if I go to Milu's now, some of you might notice if you've already got the new task turned on that the tasks here look slightly different to what you might have. So as I said at the beginning of the webinar, we are still developing this feature, which is really amazing. So actually in the latest version 133, we've released these new kind of hyperlinks. So if your task has been related to a record, you can then easily navigate to them from the task. So that's feedback that we got from customers and the product team have then implemented. So any feature requests, any ideas for the calendar, please do drop them below so we can take that to product. But if I then go to the company record here, so obviously this is the company who haven't paid their invoices, I can then see in the activity quite easily what's going on. So I can see that I've got a task, a high importance task. It was due on the 29th of November, and this is kind of the progress we're at with it. But even I didn't even need to really say that in the note that I've got a meeting booked because when you come here, you'll notice it says that you've got a meeting booked and it actually says it's in 11 minutes time. So if I just click on here, again, it pops up and I can just join it from Teams. So can you see how it's so much easier to be in control of your time and what's going on when it's all managed in the CRM? So when anybody opens up this company record, they can see that there's a meeting going on. They can see that it's all in hand. They don't kind of get a shock when they go into sales transactions and see it's all unpaid and panic. They can see quite nice and easily the progress that's being made on this. And you can then also obviously historically report on this so you can see kind of how long it took for this task to be actioned, how long it took for the meeting to get booked in. You would then add in your notes from the meeting. So you've got all of that kind of tracking all done within the CRM. Whereas if you just had this meeting in Outlook, you would kind of be missing that connection. You wouldn't be able to see that in CRM. You'd be relying on myself or Tanya to actually put notes in the CRM and say, we've got this meeting going on. So it's really beneficial from that point of view. So this was me in the morning starting to action my task list. And so that top high priority one is done. I know once that meeting is done and booked in and completed, I can complete that task. But if I have a look, I've still got 8 tasks that I need to be getting on with. And again, not too much time coming up in the coming days. So what have I got here? I've got email customer. Well, actually, I already did that. I just forgot to complete it. So I'm just going to mark that as complete. I can add an outcome if I want to, but I don't know yet because the customer's not replied. So nice and easy, can clear that one off. And now I want to look at calling this customer. So it looks like this customer had a late delivery. So I'm going to have a look and see what's kind of going on with this. Do we have any notes on here? Oh, I can see actually in 6 days, I've got a meeting to review the accounts. So do I actually need to be managing this now? I probably need to see if there's an update. So I can see nobody's put any updates, and I can see me and this user had a meeting. So what I might do is actually add a task to say to one of my other users, kind of chase up, what is this chase up problem? So I can then say to one of my users, perhaps Lucy, being like, hey, before my meeting next week, please chase this up with the customer, etc. You can kind of task that over to her. That's going to be sent, and you can go, okay, I've delegated that over because I know I'm not going to have time to do it today. You saw my calendar, really busy. Delegated that over to Lucy. I've got faith that Lucy's going to be able to manage this. So I'm going to go back to my task list and actually say, I'm going to move this task to be in 6 days' time because I'm going to review it in my meeting. So I'm going to move that task along, and that's now all sorted. So it's just the process and it's just the workflow of being able to easily manage your time a lot better. Already in the kind of 15 minutes that I've been doing this demo, I've managed to get my task list down from 9 to 7, and actually really that's 6 because I've already got a meeting booked in. So it's just a lot easier to be able to manage your time when you can easily see what meetings you've got going and also what tasks are happening. So it's just a lot easier to have that control, have that organization when it's all there in front of you, rather than having to kind of figure it all out by just cross-referencing. And you can see what tasks you've also got coming up. So I might want to move one of these tasks because actually I'm going to have no time to complete it. You might want to move it for next week. For that, I might want to then have a look at my calendar for next week. So I'm going to drag that open and see, okay, Monday, Tuesday, also pretty busy, probably won't have time. And then that's when you can start thinking, do I delegate this? What is important, what isn't? I can say that, sending a quote, that is really important. I'm going to put that as priority high. So then, with the time that you've got, because time is precious, you are spending it doing the most high impactful things that you can be to grow your business. So yeah, I think that is pretty much everything covered, I think. Yeah. So that is everything I had covered in terms of what kind of the benefits are with using the calendar instead of Outlook, and how that kind of crosses over with your task list. Obviously, if you've got any specific questions, please do put them in the chat. Hopefully, I've not talked too quickly for you and that it all makes sense. But if you've got any kind of specific use cases that maybe you wanted me to go through today, then very happy to do so. Put that in the Q&A as well, and I can kind of go through them. But if we just go back to my slides here and have a look at the key takeaways, hopefully. That should just be loading. Oh, no, I've gone too far. There we go. So if we just remind ourselves what the key takeaways were for this webinar, it was, how can you stay organized, in control, have effortless task management, and prioritize things all within the CRM? So hopefully I've kind of demonstrated that. Staying organized and in control is very much surrounded by having one point of information, being able to see in one place in the CRM your meetings for the day and the tasks that you've got is so much easier for you and your team to manage than having to kind of faff around with Outlook and seeing what's in the CRM. There's that disjoint there, whereas having it all in one place is going to make it so much easier. If we then think about the task management, Again, having it already categorized for you for what's due today, what's due tomorrow, overdue, makes it a lot easier. It reduces that admin, and so does then prioritizing those tasks. If you make sure those tasks are prioritized when you're setting them, it means when you come in the morning to review your task list, you can see what's really urgent. What do I need to be getting on with today? Do I need to just book in a quick meeting with one of my coworkers or with my customers to get this task actioned? And being able to prioritize obviously helps a lot with staying in control of your task list because there is nothing worse than logging in on a Monday morning and seeing you've got about 30 overdue tasks from last week and you've got no idea how you're going to be able to complete them all. Well, being able to view your events, meetings in the CRM and seeing what tasks those are and being able to easily kind of manage them in one place is obviously going to help with that. Okay. So on to the Q&A section now. Obviously, there wasn't a long demo. This was very much kind of, do you guys have any questions? So please do leave them below and I will try and answer them as best as I can. Because this is a new feature, obviously, again, any product suggestions, feature suggestions would also be really good. So let's get answering some of these. With Outlook, can you set reminders to pop up on the screen before the task and meeting so you don't forget them? Does this calendar have this feature? So that's a really great idea. It kind of has that feature and also kind of doesn't. So if I go back here, you'll notice that when I create the event, you'll have the option to have a reminder. This is actually just the Outlook reminder. So this is just going to pop up in your Outlook and make that noise if you have it set up. That's all within Outlook. So we don't currently have any kind of in-app notifications. It's not going to come up in the CRM to say you've got a meeting upcoming. But really great feedback and actually something that we might be incorporating into Access Evo. I'm sure you've seen recently on all of the Access's socials, we're launching the Evo button with the Evo feed. And so perhaps those reminders are going to be put into the Evo feed. But really great question, David. And I'll feed that back to my product team and hopefully kind of get a little bit of an update out to you at a later date. Dan, when will Gmail and Google be integrated? This is not much use to us at present. So I presume you mean it's not much use because you use Google or Gmail. So I believe our product team are in the process of reviewing what work would be needed to get this same functionality for Gmail or Google. I'm not sure where they're at it with it at the moment, and I'm not sure if it's something we'll be taking forward, but I'd be very happy to ask for you, Dan, and get a bit more of information for you there. So just to reiterate, currently it is just Outlook we integrate with, but I'll ask my product team and see if we've got any in the future. Here we go. I don't seem to have the task button on the activity screen. Can this be added? Okay, so this is actually probably going to be because you don't have the new task feature enabled. So whilst the calendar is available to everybody, the new tasks is something that you can choose to migrate over to. So this might just be because it's not enabled. So if your task list in the top right-hand corner actually shows a bell icon and it doesn't have this nice colored and laid out task list, that's because you're using our old one. Now, you can easily migrate over. So if you're an admin of the system, then you can go into system settings. And if we just type in task, here you go, enable new tasks. So I believe it should be there for people to use to enable. If it's not, just get in contact with our support team and we can turn it on for you. What I will say is the reason we haven't just migrated everybody over to the new tasks is that it's pretty hard to migrate back. So if you don't like this new task feature and you don't really want to be using it, we can't kind of take you back if you change your mind. And if we do, then there might be some issues. So we generally advise that we don't. So that's why we've not kind of mandated that everybody use it currently. But if you don't see any issues with it, then please do get in contact with support to get it turned on for you. If you have any questions, obviously just let us know. And again, there is a webinar previously talking all about the tasks. So if you wanted to learn more about it, do have a look at the webinar for that. Is the recording of this available, please? Yes, it is. So everybody who attends or registers for the webinar will be emailed a link to the recording, but you can also see all of our previous webinars on our YouTube page. Who is the best point of contact regarding setup issues? My IT team are unable to get the sync to work, even with setting all the admin permissions. We've emailed the general support yesterday. That's exactly what you need to do. So you need to email support, which is support@prospectsoft.com. They'll be able to get you, they'll be able to see what's going wrong, basically. If you wanted something kind of a little bit more live, then we do have the live chat. So a reminder to anybody who didn't know, we have a live chat with live agents. To get there, usually you would have a little icon in the bottom right, but I've actually dismissed it. So to get it back up, you just do chat with us and you would just say, start a message and say, need help integrating my calendar. And a live support person will then pick that up and will start the conversation with you. And yeah, as you mentioned, it does need to be a Microsoft admin who actually connects it because you need to basically give us access to the calendar. But any issues, just please get in contact with our support team. Are there any plans to add a Google integration? I answered this before. It is something we're looking into. I'm not sure where we're up to with that. So please just keep an eye out for our socials to see if it's upcoming. And yeah, thank you. You're very welcome. Mine still says coming soon. I'm not able to enable the new tasks. This might be due to the version that you're on. So Sonia, I would definitely recommend you just get in contact with our support team through the online chat. If you just say, I'd like to enable new tasks, then you'll get through to somebody who can do that for you. So yes, please do get in contact with support team. Please do start using the new tasks. I'm sure you can all see how much more useful it is than our current one. So yes. Can I share the recording to others if I forward the email? Yes, please do. Please forward the recording to any members of your team. And it's all public on our YouTube channel. So you're also very welcome to just point them there for any of our historic ones. So yes, please do, Gillian, share that with others. Okay, so that's all the questions I've got on my list now. I'm very happy. I will stay here for another couple of minutes to see if you have any other questions. Otherwise, please have a very lovely afternoon. I wish you all the best for the rest of the week. And yeah, if you had any questions at all about how to use the CRM, how to get more value out of the CRM, please do get in touch with your customer success manager to have a meeting booked in, an account review. And yeah, we can talk through it. If you have more questions on the task or the calendar, again, just get in contact with the team. If you wanted to look at any of our webinars, I've put the link on the screen there for you. So prospectsoft.com/resources/webinars. But again, it's also on our YouTube page. Please could I have the support email address? Of course. So just to reiterate, our support email address is support@prospectsoft.com and you'll get through to our support team. But if you want a kind of live question and answers, please do go to the chat function that I demoed just a minute ago. There is also another webinar kind of all about our online resources. So please do check that one out so you can see how else you can contact our support team. But I don't have your email for who asked for the support email address, but if you let me know your email, I can always kind of email you with the support details if you kind of wanted that as well. But just let me know your email because I'm not sure who you are right now. Okay. Suzanne, hi. When enabling the new task, does it apply to all your users in the system or does each user need to apply it? Really great question. So when you enable the new tasks, it will affect all of your users. Everybody will get the new tasks. It's not just for you. So it's really important to keep that in mind and make sure that everybody's on board with using the new tasks. As you kind of saw the small demo I did today, it's very similar to the task system that we have now. It just means you can have multiple tasks on one record. You've got that nice and improved task list, and it's also where we're making all the improvements. We're not really going to be improving our old task system. It's all focused on the new one. So it's definitely worth kind of migrating over as soon as you can, just to be using the new and improved system. Okay. Any more questions, please do ask me or get in contact with your customer success manager, and they'll be very happy to help you. But yeah, I will stay for another couple minutes in case you have any questions. It can be relating to the webinar I've just done, or if you have any general CRM questions, I'm also very happy to help. This is a general question. How would you describe the inquiry option on the CRM versus the opportunity? Okay, really great question. So, the way I would kind of describe them, so presumably the differences and why you'd use them, not to lead off onto a tangent, but the inquiry is the very first, very initial, very basic step towards having an opportunity. So, generally, you'd have an inquiry, then you'd have an opportunity. So your inquiry is very basic. So usually it comes through on the website with the inquiry web forms, and it's just going to have information such as their email address, their phone number, and perhaps what they're inquiring about. You would then use that as a chance to um, what's the word? Like pre-evaluate them to have a little bit of an assessment as to whether they're a legitimate inquiry. Because of course, if it's on the website, you can get a little bit of spam. If it's a legitimate inquiry, if it's something that you are interested, I suppose, in following through, then at that point you might have, a phone conversation, a small email that can all be saved on the inquiry. And only once you know that it's kind of going to go somewhere, or you're pretty hopeful that it will, would you then convert it to an opportunity. That's then when you can start working a little bit more on it. That's when you can build a quote. That's when you can be adding documents. So a lot more kind of in depth into you're a lot more confident on it. And the reason you would kind of have that step, because I can imagine you're thinking, well, I can do everything you said on the inquiry before on the opportunity. That's true. You can. If you wanted to jump straight into an opportunity, that's absolutely fine. But it's the idea of making sure that A, you've got quality leads. So for forecasting, you can see you've got this opportunity. It's already been assessed as a quality lead and it might go somewhere. So you're not going to have a report saying you've got 20 opportunities. Actually, 10 of them are spam, so you're not going to take anywhere. And yeah, so it's all about forecasting. The inquiry kind of pre-step does that for you, gets rid of any of the spam ones, perhaps any duplicates, and it generally just doesn't clog up your opportunities, right? Your opportunities are assigned to your sales team and are actually ones that they're going to be working on, whereas the inquiries you can kind of quickly just go through them and assess them and pass them on and make sure that your sales team again are optimizing their time and working on the opportunities that are going to follow through and actually close rather than some inquiries that you kind of perhaps know that you've tried before and aren't really going to get anywhere or just not a right fit, etc. So yeah, really great question though. I'm not sure. We've definitely got webinars on inquiries and inquiry web forms, so do have a look at that. But that might be something also to reach out to your success manager on and see if you can bring it up in the account review to just help you understand how that will work in your workflow and how you can implement inquiries via opportunities. So, great question. You're very welcome. And if you're not sure who your customer success manager is, again, just get in contact with the support team and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. very happy to stay for another couple of minutes if anybody still has any questions. But yeah, otherwise, have a lovely week. Okay. I am going to presume that there are no more questions. I'm hoping that means that I did such a good job that I answered them all. But yeah, if there are any other questions kind of after the webinar in a couple of hours or maybe a couple of days, perhaps once you've sent this round to the rest of your team, then again, just get in contact with our amazing support team. If it's something that the customer success team can help with, they'll happily pass it along for you. Or if you know who your customer success manager is, just drop them an email, just see if they can help you out. We'd be very happy to kind of help you understand how these new features can fit in into your workflow and into how your business runs. So yeah, please don't hesitate to contact anybody in the team. They'd be more than happy to help or show you who is going to be able to help. But yeah, cool. I will end the webinar there. Have a lovely week, everybody. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.